This morning I'm going to show you how to market your wholesale real estate house. It doesn't take a whole lot of ingenuity. It just takes sticking out above where everybody else is. Now, when you've got a traditional MLS listing, it's going to be a sign, maybe a couple directional signs, and it's not really going to stand out. And what happens, and I've heard this from a lot of agents, that you don't get a lot of viewings, a lot of showings. It's just the way it is. So we do it a little bit differently. Let me show you. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go and get all my equipment out. So what I did is I got some flags, and those are over here. And I'm going to show you in a minute how I did that. And then what I did is I put up some directional signs. Now, this is a house that I'm using it for a test. I'm going to take this down, but this is pretty much what we do. You're going to go to several different poles and you're going to put up signs very to this. And these signs are directional. I'm using a house for caches. My Kansas number 386-789-6607, house for sale, and then a directional sign. Now, as you can see, the wind's beginning to pick up. What I would do is make sure that these are secured much more firmly, but this will work for what we're doing today. Now, I'm also going to go and I'm going to take a look at poles that I'm going to put these on. So I'm going to walk over here to one of the poles here. I would put a few directional signs. You see that main street down there? That's called Archibald. Let me show you that. Okay, over there. I would put a sign that would have a right directional turn off of that street. Well, and in this case, I'd have to do masking tape. Most of the time, it's a slap hammer, and make sure that these signs are secured. I would also put the sign right on this pole, and I would put house for sale just with a direction right there. So that's what you need to do, is carefully set up your signs. Make sure that you check out the area, that you know where people are driving in. And in this case, it's one way on the street. So it's pretty easy. Couple signs. As you can see, we're here. Now all of a sudden, we see additional signs. And that's how it works. You can see the back of my car, where my office is, always using that Home Depot bucket, slap hammer, masking tape. In this case, that's what I need. Most of the times in the older boarded up, vacant, just plain ugly houses, you are going to be using a slap hammer because you have more wood to be able to do it on. So now over. And this does not have to be cute. It's just effective. And this sticks out real good. So first of all, I've wrapped it around the fire hydrant. I've come over here and I've done a wrap around the tree. I don't want to look too professional. And most of you would say, well, you certainly accomplished that. And that's the idea. Because you want people to think that they can negotiate with you. That's the idea in wholesale real estate. So let's go under here and show you what we did. We wrapped it around the door, came out here in the front, assuming that these people would be home for the day or not. I wrapped it around their cars. You don't typically do that, but in this case, that's what we did because you want it to stand out. I promise you, if this house was really for sale, we would have people lining up at the door in minutes. Then you'll notice, got a house for sale, pink, anything neon works well. Cash for houses, I put my number, and then over there, I put my number. So the key here is to make sure that you plot out what you're going to do. You don't overthink it. You just put it out. Now this would be effective. This would sell me this house pretty easily. Now this is in the newer area of Southern California, so you could still, in terms of listing a house, do something like this if your agent would let you do it. And that's always the question. But more with a wholesale, the boarded up, vacant, just plain ugly houses, you're going to put it under contract. Then you're going to put up the signs, make sure that you go to all the direct opportunities out there. And as you can see out there, there are plenty of opportunities to put a directional sign. You want to make it as easy as you can for the interested person to drive in and see this simply in a matter of minutes. So that's essentially what we do in setting up a house, and it just has to stick out. This has certainly met that. Does it have to be perfect? Absolutely not, because what you're trying to do is give the impression that, hey, I can negotiate with this person. And that's exactly what you want to do. Now, you have studied what it means to price a house right in the market. You've looked at comps in the area. You are comfortable in what you know. And in the case of houses all over the Midwest, you've got to make sure that you do your comps within a quarter to a half a mile. And then as you've done that, try to get as close as you can. So a quarter mile, tenth of a mile, that's what you want to do, because those are the most accurate comps that you can get. And after you've done that, then make sure that you leave enough money for you as a wholesaler to make money, and get in most likely a rehabber who has to make 20 to 25% after expenses on the house. You got to leave enough room there. You're not going to be able to sell it. So a deal is not a deal unless you get in at the right price. So you've got to make sure that the price you're negotiating is a price that you can make your percentage. How much money do you want to make off a deal? 5, 10, 15,000. And then to make sure the rehabber after expenses is going to make their 20 to 25%. So it's something that you got to learn, but the key is, when in doubt, put it under contract, because experience helps all of us. And in this case, the experience is golden. And this house here, look how it stands out compared to the other houses. So the first thing that would happen is neighbors would drive by and see this thing and go, wow, this is for sale. How much is it for sale? They figure that out, then you're rocking and rolling with opportunities. And opportunities abound. You just have to get and put it up. Is this thing perfect? There's a sign over to the left that isn't even straight. It's okay. What I would do is I'd probably go in there and straighten it out. Other than that, this is exactly how you want it. It gives you the opportunity now to market this house, and you put it up on Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, and start to work that way. Now, in a nice house like this, you'll probably find a way to partner or collaborate with an agent, because they just have access into more opportunities, and especially with the interest rates, you've got to take a look at that. But here you go, boarded up, vacant, just plain ugly. This house is not that, but the idea is exactly what we want to do for marketing our wholesale houses. So make sure that you get out there, you do that, you market, you get creative. Remember, you want to look like you're somebody who they can negotiate with. And that is the idea. So let's get out there, let's make it happen today. It's a great day for wholesaling. Make it happen.